Parshas Chukas this week, I was inspired. The Moetzes, Gedolei Torah, and the OU, they both put out emails, basically proclaiming this coming Friday, Parshas Chukas, as a day that we should do a special davening, maybe even fasting, because of the Gezairos against the Torah that came out in Eretz Yisrael. Don't want to get into the politics of it. It's important that we have an army, and it's important that we have people learning Torah for the safety of the Jews of Eretz Yisrael. And unfortunately, any Gezairos that's going to threaten the Torah, the structure of the Torah world of Eretz Yisrael, which we know holds up Eretz Yisrael, the whole world, is not a good thing. And they both came out that specifically, this coming Friday is a day that people should gather together and daven for Hashem to show mercy and safety to Yom HaTorah. So Rav Simcha Zissel Broide has an interesting piece explaining this idea about the Friday of Parshas Chukas. So he brings a Magen, it's a Magen Avraham. It's brought in the Mishnah Berurah in Siman Tav Kuf Pei. It's also brought by the Shibbolei Haleket, the same idea, that there's an ancient minhag to fast on the Friday of Parshas Chukas. Because there was a story many years ago in France that we have a kinna about, that they burned 24 cartloads of Sefarim. In those times, Sefarim were handwritten. 24 cartloads was a tremendous, tremendous tragedy for the Jewish people, enough that they made a kinna about it. And they did a shaylas chalom, and they saw that it was because of the Friday of Parshas Chukas. The Onkelos translates it as Da Gezairos Oraisa. This is the Gezairos on the Torah. That's the translation of Zos Chukas HaTorah. So therefore, since this is a day where the Gezairos against the Torah can really be very strong, this is the day that the burning of the Sefarim took place, of the Talmuds took place. This is the day when they decreed to fast as a result, and this is a day where the Moetzes is saying people should come out and daven for the hatzlach and protection of the Torah world of Eretz Yisrael. So what we find many times, we find things commemorated on a day of the month. It's usually by the day of the month. So what's this idea of a day of the week? So Simcha Zissel Broide brings a Gemara in Shabbos, in Kuftes Vavam and Beis. We have in the Parsha of Baloscha, we have the words Vayhi ben Sa'aron Vayomer Moshe. And we have two upside down nuns in the Parsha, basically separating it as its own section. And Chazal explain, why is it like this? Why is it separated? Because it's three stories of punishments that befell the Jewish people. So we want to have a break between number 1 and number 2 with this Vayhi ben Sa'aron, in order that Klal Yisrael should not be muchzik b'paranias. It shouldn't be like the standard chazaka is that the Jewish people are getting punished. So if it would just be a story of 3 times the Jewish people are getting punished, there wouldn't be a danger for all the generations to have 3 in a row. The idea of muchzik b'paranias is an idea that the Torah is going to set something into the foundational building blocks of the world, that there's going to be a muchzik b'paranias, a default of danger for the Jewish people if the Torah be written in such a way. And therefore it was essential that the Torah be broken up over here with this section. And so we have this concept that Histakel Baraisa Barayam, Hashem looked in the Torah, created the world, that the Torah is the blueprint of creation, that everything in the world exists within the Torah, and the Torah was created before the world, and the world was built upon the Torah. And it says in the Yalkut Shimoni, if one letter would be moved in the Torah, it would destroy the world, because we know it. Because everything in the Torah, the whole world is built upon this foundation that we find in the Torah. And he says it's even more than that. It means that what this really means on a deeper level is that everything that ever happened or will happen has its root in the Torah. It has its shorish and its yesod, with the Torah is the yesod for it. Its root is within the Torah. And therefore, when people learn Torah, when they're omel about Torah, and they're involved in Torah, then they bring about a greater existence in the world. And they can even create worlds. When a person says Chedushay Torah, then Nefesh HaChaim says, so then he could bring about new things in the world. He becomes a shotef l'HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'maaseh b'reish. He's helping sustain the world. He's helping bring about creation in the world. So in this sense, therefore, since the Torah is the foundation for the world, so the way that the Torah is ordered and the way that the Parsha is set up also has a tremendous impact on the way the world is set up. And therefore it makes sense that the Parshas had to be split up in Parshas Baloscha. And it also makes sense that Hashem could reveal to us that the day of Zos Chukas HaTorah, that the 6th of Parshas Chukas could be a day of sakana and kitrug and prosecution from Shemayim, that it could be the day when these terrible tragedies happened in our Torah world, and that the Parsha of the Torah, not just the day in the month, but the Parsha of the week itself, could set this force into the world. He brings a fascinating letter of the Ramchal in a time in Italy when they had a similar gezerah of burnings of the Talmud. So he says there's a deeper remez here that the Para Aduma, the Shekhinah sort of gave itself over to be burned to save Klal Yisrael. When there was a Beis Hamikdash, the Para Aduma, we know that's what the Torah Parsha is talking about. In the beginning of the Parsha is about Para Aduma, that the Para Aduma was burned as a kapara for the Jewish people. Once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed and there is no Para Aduma, now the Torah itself needs to be burnt with Sreifa, Chas v'Shalom, because of Klal Yisrael. So he says, so when Klal Yisrael is Meimis Atzmo ala Torah, it says, Adam ki yamas ba'olah, ein Torah niknas abim mishem Meimis Atzmo. The Torah is only acquired by one who is willing to slave over it and kill himself over it in a certain sense. And so this idea, so when Klal Yisrael is Meimis Atzmo ala Torah, then they don't need something like this. But Chas v'Shalom, if Klal Yisrael is not properly invested in the Torah, and they're not Meimis Atzmo ala, then there's an extra kitrug on the Torah, and sometimes Chas v'Shalom, the Torah has to go with Sreifa in order, I guess, to take one to protect the Jewish people. That was the way that the Ramchal understood what was going on. That explains to us why this drush of Ada, in a Torah, of Zosa Torah, Adam ki yamas ba'oel, in a divrei Torah miskaimim el b'mi shemeimis atzmo alel, is specifically in this Parsha of Chukas HaTorah, where we have this root of the Midas Hadin, this Gezerah d'Oraisa, this potential danger to our Torah world, and give us an insight into how everything in the Torah fits together, how all the pieces come together. May we appreciate how our world, it has this root and foundation in Torah. May we be zeicher to daven on this coming Friday. May we be able to invoke mercy from Shemayim. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring about an end to Gezairos that would weaken our relationship in Torah, weaken the power of Torah in Klal Yisrael. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring shalom in Eretz Yisrael. May Hashem bring unity to all the people there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring us bi'achta, bi'akiyam of what we say before Rosh Chodesh. Hu yigal asana v'kabitz nidachem yabakon fas haaretz, when it's chaverim kol Yisrael. So we all be together. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu protect us. And we have Bisuras Taros. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos.